Today's film is so shocking, so extreme that it had to be put on a disturbing movie iceberg. So what is it about? A zombie with a rubber schlong that murders people. Which makes me believe that the person who did that iceberg either didn't watch this movie or was totally tone deaf. Probably a mix of both. Yes, I am back into the wonderful world of SOV trash from the 90s. The last time I talked about Streets of Death, and today I'm talking a movie that takes itself slightly less seriously, and that is of course The Necrophiles from 1997. And as I said in the intro, this movie is literally about a zombie with a ginormous, and I'm saying giant goddamn penis made of rubber that murders people. And that zombie is actually a resurrected corpse of a serial killer. That's named Logan, which makes him the worst second Logan I've ever seen. And if the goofiness of this entire concept was not enough, there's also a flying rubber baby throughout the film. So the film starts with the previously mentioned serial killer Logan stalking a woman that's taking a shower, because this film starts like any other self-respecting exploitation film with a shower scene. I'm not complaining. And the lady is stalked by Logan, as I said, who's wearing a white mask that they probably got at the dollar store with a Sharpied on swastika. And by the way, the swastika is terribly drawn. It's like the ones that, you know, your weird edgy kids in elementary school would draw in their desk, where it's not even tilted. It's just, you know, the Hindu swastika or the Buddhist swastika, which maybe that was the point. Maybe Logan is a dedicated Buddhist. Until you see him rip open the stomach of the young lady and eating her guts, but maybe that's part of Buddhist tradition. I couldn't say. I've never met a Buddhist. And in between that, we meet two of our main characters that are, of course, detectives. We have a tall, fatter one. Sorry, I don't know how to describe him. Oh, he has glasses. And then we have a shorter one, who I think also has glasses. It's hard to tell because the transfer on this was really mushy. And they're talking about trying to find this serial killer / serial rapist that apparently has killed and raped 200 people. Oh, and he also killed and raped the detective's sister, which makes it even more personal. And by the way, if you're easily offended by crude language, these cops talk like characters from a Rob Zombie movie, except way less obnoxious.
Yeah, well, maybe I should just get off my fat ass long enough to clean up the street for your pointy fucking head.
So they get a call and they finally go to the house to bust the serial killer, except our shorter detective gets hit in the head and he'll become crazy due to the brain damage. I'm not kidding, that's the explanation for when he rages later in the film, and now he develops a drug habit, because he will become a drugged out detective that murders his drug dealers. And then the taller police, with the glasses, is like, yo bro, calm down, but our little fella really likes to commit police brutality. Eventually, it leads him to shoot Logan right in his head. And I just have to mention that I know this was a low budget, but they could have at least gotten 2 gun props, because anytime you see a gun in this film, it's the same goddamn revolver used. Then we cut to 9 months later, and we're following a satanic cult that goes into a cemetery in broad daylight, by the way. Not very subtle, guys. But then again, I saw how this movie looked shot at night, and thank God they shot it during the day. And the satanic cult will go to Logan's graveyard and try to resurrect him by sacrificing a baby that 100% looks like a real baby. That was sarcasm. Rise! 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 And if sacrificing a baby somehow wasn't enough, well, the leader of the cult decides to piss on the tomb, which of course whenever Logan is resurrected, he's pretty mad about getting pissed on his face. You could say he's a bit pissed off. I'm sorry.
I can't lie to Jesus!
So Logan, who's now a zombie, rips out the cock of the cult leader and just murders everybody except 2 of the cult members, which one of them has spiky hair and a Mission to Mars t-shirt, which is so 90s it almost made me cry from nostalgia. And they run away and they'll be chased during the entire film by the zombie, and eventually the Mission to Mars guy will die and our other fella will run, meet the police, tell his story about a demon, and the police will get angry and police brutality him to death. And in between that, our giant cocked monster will, you know, do his deed, which is grape and murder random people. One of them being this BDSM lady with a lot of tattoos and piercing who's getting cuffed on a bed by a man with the thickest Australian accent and the tightest boxers I've ever seen. That's probably my favorite part of the movie.
Stand here and whip you all night, we better get it right.
Until the final showdown between our giant cock monster and the flying zombie baby, which is how the film ends. I'm sorry, spoiler alert. So after our zombie, you know, murders people and our police do police things, like again, lots of police brutality, they finally meet again, our big, tall, chubby police and our giant cock monster. Our 2 detectives are in the car, they just see the giant cock zombie run in the city and he's like, oh, what is this? And he starts running after, and then we have this slapstick comedy scene of the giant cock monster getting chased by the flying baby, and then you have this silly slapstick scene of the giant cocked zombie getting chased by the zombie baby, getting chased by the police with silly music playing in the back, which leads to the final fight between our 3 main characters. And whenever the detective finally accomplishes his duty of murdering everybody, including the baby and the zombie, well, his drugged out partner kills him because he doesn't believe that there's a demon zombie and a flying baby. So, do I recommend 1997's The Necrophiles? Well, absolutely yes. First things first, the audio is actually pretty good, and the visual quality, it's okay. I mean, it's a shot-on-video film on Blu-ray, but I feel like they upscaled it to 1080p, which makes some scenes kind of look like they have this filter on them, especially the night scene. They're barely visible, but it has good gore, it has good audio, it has a ridiculous concept, which is even more ridiculous in execution, so I'd say that this one is honestly a highlight of the trash 90s SOV movement. The gore is great, like I said, cannibalism, you know, guts getting ripped, penises getting ripped, babies getting sacrificed. Like, this has all the fucking things you want from an edgy 90s movie, so I recommend 1997's The Necrophiles. See you guys next time.